That would have been nice of them to do, but you know what? It's politics, and I'm not going to really harbor ill feelings towards them. But what I will say is my record with education, working with children with disabilities, working with parents and educators and school leaders beats anybody by million.
Norma Siegel was the teacher, by the way.
Yeah, yeah.
The second question is, Gary Popkin, my colleague and BFF, that's best friend for
yes.
Okay.
What about BFFL?
What's
for
that?
life?
Life.
You gotta do BFFL.
Okay, he's going to run for also for state assembly as you as a Libertarian Party candidate and the 52nd AD though. Okay.
Okay.
Now, a question that I'm going to ask him, I will ask him, which I will ask you now.
Sure.
Is that just as the U.S. Constitution defines the power of Congress, enumerates them one by one, which by the way, the Constitution directed at them, not at us. Okay, it's a secret thing. Now, obviously, they're not following this. 90% of all the spending is unconstitutional, but that's another story.
Right.
Okay, now, New York State Constitution, I imagine they also enumerate the powers of the State Assembly, Senate, all that. Do you know what those powers are, by any chance?
The powers of the assembly?
Yes, is it enumerated in the New York State?
Educate me here.
Well, I don't have a copy of the New York State
Yeah,
Assembly.
I mean, it's to
I wish I wrote one, but I don't think Gary knows either. But
yeah.
if you do find out, would you make it a priority for you to obey the New York State Constitution?
Oh, of course, yeah, to uphold my duty, yeah, without a doubt.
I mean, if it says you're not allowed to interfere with public transportation.
Got it. Yeah, there's an ethics commission that I filled out the requisite paper.
I'm saying
You
the
have to take an oath.
powers that's enumerated in the like that, the Constitution.
Yeah,
no
well, you
power.
have to fill out a questionnaire, like an ethics questionnaire. They go through your background. And, yeah.
The U.S. Constitution gives no
well,
power.
You see how thorough how it worked.
Steve, I had a question. Steve,
Yeah.
do you are you going to have a debate between you and your opponent?
I do anticipate one, yes. I know that there's one scheduled, I think October 3rd, there's an AARP one in Bay Ridge. I'm looking forward to wiping the floor with Ethan, if he decides to show up.
Right.
We'll talk about the issues, we'll talk about how he's a puppet and just brought up by the machine, and he has nothing to really speak on, and I'll tell that to his face. But yeah, so that's that one thing, and I know that on the Democratic side, he's avoided any discussion with Dr. Frontis because he is afraid, and he has the unions, and he doesn't really have to face the people.
Right.
I'm going to try to get the New York one with the Errol Lewis.
Right.
But look, I mean, when you have a debate, do they get votes? Right. I mean, possibly. Does the everyday voter watch a New York one, or do they go to an ARP? Maybe
if you
not.
promote it properly, you can.
Well, that's what I
send
need you
it
guys
on.
for.
Right.
Yes, that's something that.
Also, how could someone volunteer on your campaign?
So I have Bacha, a lovely young lady back there, and if anybody's interested, where again, volunteering is making phone calls, knocking on doors, and pretty much that's what it's about. Directly, meeting the voters, and there are different election districts in the area, and that's what it's about. It's just like directly reaching the voter. You can hand out palm cards at a train stop. How many are actual voters? You have a list of people that are voting, and you deliver your message to them. And there's many, even running for my city council race, there's so many people that were, I'm voting Democrat, and then they had a conversation with me, like, wow, and they switch, and then they would leave me voicemail saying, Steve, I got 20 of my friends, hopefully it was 20, but I got 20 of my friends. I could have used a lot more than 20, but
yeah.
I got 20 of my friends that are going to vote for you. You're impassioned, you're against the status quo. So that's what it's about, and it's about that. So phone banking is big, and we're going to really pick it up after Labor Day. I'm running, I'm going to be sharing offices I do share an office with Senator Golden in Bay Ridge, and I know Congressman Donovan is going to be coming in.
His chances look? Because I've seen things.
He's going to be
that look like
fine.
he's gonna be-
Senator Golden will be victorious. A lot of the noise, again, it's just a lot of noise
is
from.
all, we're going to defeat him this year. We're going to get rid of the Republican.
It's just a lot of noise. The people who know Senator Golden
Yeah, I
know his dedications to the community for years, and they're not going to let.
And that transcends the party.
Yeah, exactly, and it does transcend a party, and you'll see, and that's the crossover that we're going to get also. my opponent was saying that I'm ashamed to be a Republican, and trying to make me out to be a crazy nut job because of their preconceived views, and it's not going to work. You know, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. And the more we speak up about it, the more we deliver our message of common sense and the fact that we want to solve the solutions. If you look at someone just sent me an Andrew Cuomo mailer. He's full of shit. I mean, part of my but it's just how. Right, and I just got this earlier.
Crazy television ads that's on every 2 minutes.
Ready?
Oh, it's so annoying.
I'll show you. We face unprecedented challenges from Donald Trump. ... And it's him lifting up, an African American child. I mean, talk about pandering. Shame on you, Cuomo. You know, you pick this girl out, and you have their vote, and you have. I mean, it's just, it's peak full of shit, and it just angered me, and I don't mean to use the S word, right? Is it okay if can I say it again?
We're from Brooklyn.
They're full of shit, and they're all endorsing each other, and that's how they stay in power. And
he's afraid of Nixon, I think.
Yeah, and he's 30 points ahead. But anyone with a politician normally, when you say boo, they all get scared, even though they're 30 points ahead, because he was mostly like a moderate type, so to speak, of a Democrat that you could get. And because she's so left, and he's scared because she said boo, all of a sudden he's Stalin.
Yeah.
And it's quite disgusting. It shows what a cheap.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Chris?
Yeah, Steve, you mentioned earlier about there's a lot of people walking away from the Democratic Party. What are you specifically doing to reach out to those voters?
That's a great question. So I'm trying my best to go. I mean, in my specific district, there's a huge voting block. I would say it's about maybe 10 to 15% voting block in Coney Island. It's about 17 election districts that have, I think, 5 to 6 housing projects, and the conditions there are worse than they've ever been. But all they know is Democrat. All they know is, well, again, the rhetoric. Well, Donald Trump, he's racist. Republicans are bad for us. So what we need to do is we need to go and directly engage. And if we can engage, look, I'm not saying that we're gonna come and it's gonna be a miracle. But if instead of getting 3% of the vote there, we can get it to 10%, we win. That's it.
Well, there is hope. There is hope because Donald Trump garnered 8% of the African American vote in 2016. Last year, his support due to a poll was 16%, and the latest poll, I believe from Rasmussen or whatever, it was reported by USA Today also, and that is at 36%.
Yeah.
So it is growing because they understand that he's a passionate person, he transcends party lines, and he wants America to be great. And that means everyone included,
right.
Every race, every creed, everyone, every religion, anything, because we're all Americans, and he wants that. And that's the message that we should all relate to when it comes to, and I know you will definitely do that. And I think there is an opportunity there that we could, see, as the Republican Party, we tend to write off certain communities only because we know, well, traditionally 98% of them will vote for the Democrat Party. But if you don't reach out, there's no way of chipping into that block. You have to start somewhere and say, listen, and that's what Donald Trump was doing. Could you get any worse than what's going on? Give me a shot.
That's exactly what
I mean, what's the difference? I mean, look what's going on in Chicago, how horrible it is. And it's
and I do plan
sad.
on, I am going to do a big event. I don't want to give too much away because I know we have cameras joking, but we are going to do something really big, and that's going to make a big splash. And
Are you going to Atlantic Antic?
what's that?
Are you going to be at Atlantic Antic?
No.
That's out of his district.
No, I'm going to. Well, I'm actually going to go into Coney Island.
There is the Brighton Beach Festival.
Yeah, look, I went to the
I go
Atlantic
every
Antic's
year.
that big street fair,
Oh yeah,
Yeah, but that's downtown Brooklyn.
But the thing is, like, the
He's
street
not
fairs are
downtown
great,
Brooklyn.
and I'm going to go to
Yeah.
the Jubilee, but
When is that, next week?
the 26th,
Next Sunday?
yes, Sunday.
Okay.
But the thing about these festivals is, do they get, how many people are verified voters, how many people are registered to vote? We need to identify, and again, it's analytics, and I think Trump did a great job of that.
Yeah.
He went in and said, okay, who can we win over? And in a year like this, right, remember, this is an off-year election, so it's not a presidential year. So how do we get presidential year voters who normally stay home this year, how do we get them engaged? Especially our base, the Republican and conservative base. How do we get them engaged? How do we say, you know what, listen, you need to step up? And you did see it with the Dan Donovan primary. The numbers were high. So we need to really, have them come out to vote. And if they do, I think we're in good shot. And again, my district, even though it's about 2-1 Democrat to Republican, Nicole, when she ran for mayor last year, won it she won it by 3,000 votes. So we're on the right path here, but we just have to just get out there and look. I'm up against my own union for damn, for God's sake. So
I'm going to write a letter to the editor.
she won my 80 by 3,000 votes. Yeah.
Occasionally I manage to get letters into the union paper, letters to the editor. I'm going to write a letter to the editor.
I would please.
That, a friend of mine is running for this on the Republican line. How come the union failed to acknowledge his existence?
Not only did they gave again a dues-paying member 8 years, but they did a political favor to Mark Traeger.
Yeah.
And I get it's politics, but I'm not running. If I was running against Councilman Traeger, I understand, know what he's the education chair, but I'm not running against him. I'm running against his puppet, and that's what made me so angry. But I'm not going to let it. My message of bringing change, especially with education. I want to be known as the education. So that's something that when I do release my platform after Labor Day, it'll be eye-opening. Any other?
Yeah, don't feel bad, Steve. I ran for state senate in '08 and state assembly in 2016, and my union, because I'm in the Teamsters union, it's a law. But oddly enough, I'm in law enforcement, so I don't know why Teamsters is part of our outfit for CUNY. In public safety, so they endorsed my opponents both times.
Yeah.
In '98, when I ran against Dove Hyken, I wasn't in a union, so I'm sure they would have voted against me also.
Right. Yeah.
Hi, Steve. I'm looking at your campaign literature, and I noticed that you don't mention your Republican.
Yeah, and that was a comment too. This is a
design
general.
It's a general election. Normally,
it's a general.
they don't do that.
Yeah.
I'm in politics 25 years or so. I never seen in a general election any politician really mention Republican or whatever. You might
Even
see
the
every now and
Democrats?
then Democrat. That's because it's 5 billion.
And they're running in a primary.
Right,
That's
and
why
they're running in a
yeah.
primary. When you'll mostly see that in primary settings where you mention Republican a lot.
Yeah.
In a general election, because you can't just go for your voters, you have to go for, especially as a Republican. Democrat could probably get away with saying Democrat because we're outnumbered 9-1. We're trying as a Republican base also. You want the Republican base, and that's where you engage with them if you have a primary. But you also engage with them from your analytics 101 also, and come to meetings like this one. But you also have to deal with a general election. You want to get elected. So you have to appeal to every party. Now, it doesn't mean compromise your positions. You point your positions on the card what you're standing for, and that stands for, if you're a Republican or whatever you are, that's what you're running on. You're running on that platform on that card. Education, law and order, and what have you. So you're going to have all that detailed on the card, of course, with the website where you have more in-depth details on each issue. So at the end of the day, you want
on multiple lines.
right.
Exactly.
Because he might be also, other candidates might be running on the conservative line,
46.
independent line. Also.
I know, yeah, because again, it's a general, and the thing too is when you say like, well, I'm running in the 46, people don't, it's by neighborhood and by community, and
Right. Oh, you did it as the neighborhood. It's good.
Yeah, definitely, and that was Jerry O'Brien.
Yeah, that's good.
So someone asked me, what party is this guy running on?
Republican, conservative, independence, and reform. Yes, I'm I'm a registered Republican, and a proud.
You tell them take your pick, Republican, independent, or conservative.
Well, the Independence Party. That's a.
So you have Curtis Lewa's endorsement?
Sure. Yes, I do.
Reform Party.
Curtis Lee.
I know him very well. I saw him, in fact, Wednesday night at the transit meeting.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I saw you have 2 pages on Facebook. Which is the right
I
one
know.
to follow?
I have to merge it, so I have like a verified. I have my personal Steven
I
Saperstein,
saw a personal,
and then I have
there's
like
a page.
Steve Saperstein NYC with the blue check mark. That's my campaign page. What I want to do is the Steve Saperstein. I want to merge that with that, so I'll have my personal page, and feel free to friend me on that also. And then I'll have my public page, Steve Saperstein NYC.
Blue check mark means verified?
Yeah, verified. Yeah.
Because you're gonna be a fake person on Facebook.
Not that people are like, oh, I'm trying to impersonate Steve Saperstein.
You never know.
You should have added one more thing.
Yes.
I am taller than James Comey.
Well, look, I really appreciate your time. The phone number on there, I'm accessible anytime. Send me an email, send me a message, and I saw, I had a volunteer event. Chris came, and let's. It's kind of the last 2 weeks of the summer. People are, going on vacation or away. But after Labor Day, we gotta really kick ass and get
Steve,
out.
by all means, post up any event you're having, any calls for volunteers, part of our
Last year
organization.
you were great when we were campaigning with
Yeah.
Nicole. You had a bunch of members came out.
Yeah.
To the
So
ball
please, by all means, post anything you need
And the
on
debate
our
also.
Facebook page, and I'll post it around Facebook because I run different other various pages, Republican pages and what have you, and we'll post that there too, and whatever help you need.
How successful have you been reaching out to the Russian community?
Look, my wife's Russian, but again, you have this radio. Look, they're elected officials. They're all Democrat. The district leaders are Democrat. They're more active. But like I said, in my overlap where I ran in the Russian part, I pulled 50%.
I know a lot of the Russians are very pro-Republican.
Yeah, and they are, and we're gonna engage them. And just keep in mind this way: my own election district, I had people like my bar, and I had my bar mitzvah photographer, right, was writing letters against me for the incumbent because they were afraid that they were going to lose funding. But now, of course not.
It's never getting your business again.
Yeah, well, no, but it was like crazy.
Now
So
what happened? What changed?
now it's an open seat. I'm not running against. I mean, I am running against. I guess a machine guy, but
Because she was.
yeah, but now it's an open
Harris was
seat. It's an
running
open seat. People aren't. I still am
scandal.
running against the establishment, technically, and that's why my funding raising has kind of like gone by the wayside. But it's okay. Look, we're going to be good. Like I said, in the overlap, I got 50%, and I lost by 2 votes because my parents they moved to Florida. Why? And I was outspent on Russian radio, 50,000 to like 3,000. On
That's
the radio.
okay. I didn't realize that
Yeah.
much money. Okay,
Yeah.
that affects it.
So, but like I said, I'm feeling good. I have the name recognition, I have the passion, and again, people understand the cronyism involved, and we're waking people up to that. And I think at the end of the day, they don't like this direction that our city and our state are going. They see it with their own eyes. No press release can change it. Oh, because of my efforts, I personally have allocated $1.8 million to this playground. First of all, it's not your money; it's the taxpayers' money, right? And anytime I see these press releases, it drives me crazy. When I'm elected, you're not going to see a press release. And if you see a press release, say, Steve, you lied to me, okay? But I would. But you see, but that's the direction it goes. It's all about press releases, but the problems don't change. So I do appreciate your time. And I look forward to getting your help. And please reach out. We do even if you can do 2 hours a week, one hour at a time. Let me know. We'll give you a couple phone numbers to call, a couple of anything helps. Okay, I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Steve. And we could watch your head.
Thank you
Do a quick picture, Steve.
Yeah, of course.
I'm going to get that letter out to the
Please,
Whether they print it or not, I can't guarantee, but I will
You should
write
tell
it.
them why are you going against your own.
Yeah, that's what I'm writing. I had a number of talks with Mike Mulder, and when I was active, when I was